So we have an update, and it's that Shadow has a shadow. So something very interesting is happening in Big Bear. KD1 now officially has a name. So KD1 is now KD. And this eagle is spending more and more time with Shadow. They're roosting together, they're vocalizing together, spending hours perched near each other. And when Shadow recently flew away, KD followed just about 2 seconds later. So, does this mean Shadow has found a new mate? We absolutely cannot say that yet, but we now have some fascinating behaviors to follow and watch. So the Friends of Big Bear Valley stated that they generally do not name visitors, only eagles who have been there for long periods of time. That makes naming KD1 Kaydee noteworthy. And Friends of Big Bear Valley did specifically say that they chose the name whether or not Kaydee ultimately remains in the area. So naming the eagle doesn't prove permanence or pair bonding. So the next big question is KD female? I see so many people asking this question. So the sex of this eagle has not been definitively established. But Friends of Big Bear Valley say they are currently leaning female. In watching their behavior together and the size of KD, it seems to be a female, but the truth is we don't know for sure yet. So we can keep watching their behavior in the future, and eventually I think we'll figure this out. Psst. Hey you, I wanted to interrupt your video for one quick moment. YouTube is telling me that the majority of my viewers are not subscribed to my channel. So if that's you, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, I would love to ask you to consider subscribing. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and consider sharing it with others that you know would love it. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Now back to your video. So on Tuesday evening of this week, Shadow and Kaydee were seen roosting together. They were observed in one of the favored roost trees, and repeated proximity together is actually a lot more interesting than just a single nest encounter, which is what we had before. Kaydee isn't simply appearing on camera for a few minutes. She is spending significant amounts of time around Shadow. And then on Wednesday morning, they were heard vocalizing together. Both eagles were heard giving their morning vocalizations to the valley. Then we saw them spending 3 hours together in the Twin Pines. Shadow arrived first, and less than a minute later, Kaydee joined him. They remained on different branches, but they stayed there for approximately 3 hours. And then we had the 2-second follow. When Shadow left, Kaydee followed approximately 2 seconds later. And this is where Friend of Big Bear Valley's title comes from. Shadow has a shadow. Kaydee is Shadow's shadow. And then they were seen together again that evening. The nest comer returned to the roost tree and found both eagles there again and again on separate branches. Then we had a very interesting nest visit by Kaydee, where Kaydee left the roost tree and went to the nest briefly, and then she returned back to the roost tree. And Friends of Big Bear Valley wondered whether that might have been a quick nest check, but they did explicitly say that that is just a possibility, not a known explanation for what she was doing. All we know for sure is that Kaydee left the roost tree, visited the nest, and then returned back to the roost tree. And ultimately, we don't actually know why. So let's take a moment to look at what we can say versus what we can't. We can say Shadow appears to be tolerating Kaydee's presence, and they have repeatedly spent extended periods of time near one another. They have roosted in the same tree. They have vocalized while being together, and Kaydee has followed Shadow after he departs. And Kaydee continues visiting the nest area. What we cannot say, at least as of yet, is the fact that Kaydee is definitely female. We don't know that for sure. We don't know that Kaydee will remain in Big Bear. We don't know that Shadow and Kaydee are a bonded pair. We don't know that Kaydee will become Shadow's next mate or that they will eventually nest together. I know we're all very emotionally invested in these eagles, but we need to be careful that we don't get ahead of ourselves and start imagining a romance happening here. Let's just stick to the facts and sit back and watch as this develops and see where it goes. Several Big Bear Valley agencies are discussing having an event honoring Jackie on October 3rd. Friends of Big Bear Valley is polling viewers to estimate the attendance and the venue needs. So go to the Friends of Big Bear Valley YouTube channel if you are interested in attending that. If I still lived in Southern California, I would absolutely be there. That's one downside to moving away. So I don't think we need to rush into deciding what Kaydee is to Shadow just yet. That's really the fascinating part of watching wild animals. We get to sit back and observe the story as it unfolds. Right now, what we know is that Kaydee is choosing to spend a remarkable amount of time near Shadow, and we know that Shadow appears to be willing to have Kaydee there. Whether this becomes a friendship, a temporary association, a future pair bond, or something else entirely is something that only Shadow and Kaydee can show us in time. So I hope this video cleared up some confusions perhaps and shared some new information for you perhaps. And again, I thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day and God bless you.